this contest set for one fall is for the WWE Championship.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Welcome to Around the Turnbuckle. I'm the Big Alboski. That guy right there is Professor Keith. As always, and joining us is the CEO of High Ground Professional Wrestling Training Center, Jak Molsonn. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's down here at the school right now. Got the boys in the ring training, having the normal Sunday afternoon beat down.
Sounds like fun times, all right? All day long, right? All day long. What time did you guys get there?
11 o'clock. Well, I got here at 10 a.m. So we've been here since 10 a.m. and I'll get out of here probably around, 10 o'clock tonight.
Unbelievable. All right. All right, man. Well, let's start at the beginning for you because we've met, we talked, and Keith and I go to a lot of the 3WA shows, if not all of them, and we've seen you in action, of course. But you were gone for a while. But before we get into that, let's go back to the beginning because somewhere along the line, you fell in love with this business.
Oh, I fell in love with the business. I don't know. I was probably like 7 years old. My grandfather used to bring me to the Springfield Civic Center to see WWE with like Chief Jay Strongbow and George Animal Steel and Samoans and all those guys. And that, we used to watch it Saturday mornings, and I loved it. Loved it.
That's up my wheelhouse, man. I used to watch Wrestling Challenge and Superstars of Wrestling on Saturday mornings right after the cartoons.
Yeah.
The cartoons were first.
I was such a mark. I remember like George Animal Steel would rip open the turnbuckle and then he'd slam somebody's head into it. And all of a sudden the big red X would come across the screen and be like, they can't show it. It's too bloody. It's too this. They have to disqualify. I'm like, oh, come on. I'd be like jumping up and down in front of the TV. My grandmother would be like, Chris, Jack, calm down. It's like, it's okay. They'll be okay. I'm like, no, they won't. No, they won't. No, they won't.
They wouldn't lie to us.
So,
What?
No,
I thought Keith was still. I thought Keith was still talking, and I.
Oh no, I just want to get that little riff in because I remember they sold it really well with that stuff and having those little sensor bars and stuff up. Like you're a little kid, you believe it. You believe that's happening for real. I remember they did the angle when I was a kid, Tatanka and Ludwig Borga, and it was a chair shot, and they played it up like this is the worst thing ever. Like all the replays are like, we can't even show you this horrible thing that happened. And I had watched it, but just by doing it that way, it's like, wow, they made it seem so much worse by saying like, we can't show you what happened.
Right.
Oh, definitely. And like back then you believed it. You know what I mean? There was so much kayfabe that you believed it. Like I remember hearing about guys being arrested just for a show. Like they would literally get arrested, start a bar fight, get arrested just to promote how badass they were in the town. So they get in the newspaper, they get that publicity.
Yep. Yeah, Mid-South, if you got in a fight, that was the rule. You didn't have to start the fight, but you better finish the fight because
Right.
if Watts found out that you lost that fight, you were done. You were out of the territory. Pack your shit. You are not getting booked tomorrow because you can't have, some townie saying like, "Hey, I beat up that champion wrestler the other day. He ain't nothing."
Yeah.
So, what age, Jack, did you go from the fan to wanting to get in that ring?
Well, my front yard was a ring. When I was younger, man, we'd watch it, and then we go outside, and I'd be like Chief J Strongbow. You know what I mean? And that was like one of my biggest back then when I was younger. He was like my idol way back in the day. He was so vicious at times, and the blood would get boiling, and he just beat people up, And then I think I lost track of it for a few years. Growing up, you kind of like get into that. I grew up on a mountain, so I had a whole 200 acres of land I could go out and play in. So for a while there, you know what I mean? I was more worried about doing some tracking or trapping or anything, when I was younger. So I kind of lost track of it for a little bit. And then probably right around a year before WrestleMania 1, when Hogan really started getting popular again.
Right.
And we were I was down visiting my grandfather and my grandmother down in Springfield, Mass. And I remember the Samoans wrestled Hogan, and I can't to this day remember who his partner was.
Bob Backlund?
Maybe, yeah. And they beat the living tar out of Hogan. He was bloody mess. The Samoans were just like eating him up. I was like, oh man, that's what I want to do. I'm like, I want to beat that guy up. I was never a big Hogan fan. I was always like a Samoans or Undertaker or.
Did you root for the heels, Jack? Because I rooted for the heels.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
I love it.
Yeah. I never liked all that, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, garbage. I was like, I want to see somebody get their head beat in, that was me, all through high school and everything. Once I got that craving for it, playing football and everything, and just being a hillbilly, being a monster man, up in the woods. That was it,
So, did you know where to seek training? Where did you seek training, and when did you have your first match?
Truthfully, I used to always my mom had given me a prescription to back then one of the wrestling magazines. It used to come to my house like monthly. And then the back of it, they had the schools. You could send away, you send them like $5 or whatever it was, and they would send you some kind of little pamphlet about their school and where to get contacts and that. And I sent a bunch of letters out when I turned 18. And I was like, I sent one up to like the Hearts, and it was like the Hearts. Then it was Killer Kowalski.
Yeah.
In Massachusetts. And I sent him, both of them, they were the only ones that they had like anything in the magazine for at the time. And I sent them like a picture like they asked for and everything. And Kowalski sent me a letter back asking me to come down for a tryout. And I was like, oh, all right.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I went down there, and there was no ring. There was no ring at the school. I was like, there was only a couple mats on the floor and stuff. I was like, what the heck is this? I was expecting to see like, a whole arena set up. I didn't know. So we walked in there and did it, and I was like, screw this. This is all garbage. Like, there's not even a ring. This guy doesn't even have a ring. I was a punk at the time. I was like, he was a legend and stuff. But back then, like, he was like somebody that, you heard about, but it was like, there was nothing there. So I just I'm like, this is all garbage. I don't know how to do this. And I took I don't know. I started going to some indie shows. And me and a couple of friends, we would go on the weekends to like rock concerts back then and go see like Motley and the Rat and all that. And we were in one town down in Rhode Island, down near the ocean, and they had a big sign up for pro wrestling. So I was like, oh man, we've already seen, I think we're going to see Rat or something like that. And I was like, oh man, let's go do this. And they're like, oh yeah, let's go see some wrestling. So we went there, and it was who was he? Boston. I can't think of his name. But this guy, the big guy, was sitting right beside us, and we were like, I was like just like drooling at like what they were doing in the ring. Like, it was just brutal. And this guy's like sitting beside me. He's like, "Oh, you're interested in becoming a wrestler?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, and he said, "Well, I know this guy that trains guys. He's trained a couple kids, and I can hook you up. And if you train with them and stuff, we can become a tag team." And I was like, "All right," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so this guy, I met this guy at a certain location, and he brought me to this guy called Ricky Saxon.
Okay.
Which was, he says he was one of the original executioners.
Okay.
And he had a ring inside his house. And I was like, yes. And he was like,
there's a ring.
Yeah. And he goes, "Oh, you're a good-looking guy. You're a big boy. He's like, if you want to come train here, I think I spent like $1,500 it was at that time, which was a lot of money back then.
That's a lot of money now to me."
Yeah. And I said, all right. And I started getting trained by him. And the first day I got in the ring, I couldn't even step in the ring. I fell through the ropes and landed on my face. Like, I didn't know nothing. I was like the worst, greenest guy in the world. And it's crazy. I had never expected to be where I am now, way back then.
Right.
So I got trained by him, and my first match was in Springfield, Vermont, at the high school.
Okay.
And Road Warriors were on the show.
Nice.
They were the main event, and I was an opener, and I get the hell beat out of me for like 5 minutes by my teacher at the time, and I loved it. Like, the high, the adrenaline rush was just like it just draws you in. It's like, I tell everybody, there's no drug, there's no other sport that you could do that you don't get the same feeling as it is when you walk out in front of a crowd and you hear that noise, that boo or the cheer. It's the adrenaline is like, you're an adrenaline junkie. You can't beat that high. And it doesn't matter what was that?
I got some comments for you. I got a comment and I got a question.
Okay.
The first comment is from Chris, our buddy Chris, Professor. He says, "Sup, guys, go Eagles." That's a shot at me because the Eagles won the NFC Championship game. And Chris Vant is not exactly an Eagles fan. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
By the way, who did they play this week, Jack?
It doesn't matter.
I know.
I've been a Patriots fan from the day I was born.
Yeah, well, you're from Massachusetts. That makes sense. That makes sense. But
Become
we
quiet,
had a lot of
honestly.
Patriots fans that jumped the bandwagon, a couple years ago.
Nope.
You're a true one. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah, I've been a fan since I was little. My grandfather was a fan. My uncle was a fan. So,
and
that's all. I'm from New England. I was born and bred in New England, man. You kids, the Patriots.
So his question to you is, who was the best match? Who was your best match against? That's usually tough to pick, right?
No, that's not. My best match I've ever had in my life is against Samu of the Head Shrinkers.
Okay. Talk about that. He still runs the school in Allentown, right?
No, I think he's part him in ECW.
Mm-hmm.
No, CZW is now their partners, I guess.
CZW, yes.
CZW, yeah.
Yes.
So I think he's down there.
Okay.
They're not, as far as I know.
That sounds about right, because I know Sam was having some problems with the building and stuff like that for a while. Because I know a couple people going back that came through there. For instance, I have a buddy, Jason Lesher. I know you know him because he's put you over forever. Like, oh, Jack taught me everything I know and all that. So, but yeah, I know there's been some problems up that way. I know they've tried to relaunch a couple of times and whatnot. And yeah, I think they're partnering up with CZW and trying to get something going again.
I heard that during the pandemic, the people that own the building sold it from out from underneath him.
Yeah, I
they
heard
turned
something
it into like a car lot or something like that. Like they demoed the building and made it into a car lot or something. Like they did him wrong. Like Sam is one of Samu is one of the greatest workers in the wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at his wrestling abilities and his matches that he had, he's one of the best wrestlers ever, I think, in my opinion. I can never say anything wrong with how Sam can take a broom and make it look like a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you wrestle him? Where was that match?
I'm going to say it was in Reading.
Okay.
I think it was for Reading for Reading for one of Pinky's shows. Pinky the familiar Pinky the what was Pinky the Flamingo Kid? He had a company called PPW way back in the day. And it was there. We worked it was Pinky used to have like a weekend type thing where he had an outside show. They had 2 outside shows, and then they had 2 inside shows back to back. So it was like outside show in the afternoon at a car lot. Then that night it was at the roller skating ring. Then again it was at another car lot, and then it was at another back at the same roller skating ring, if I remember right. And I wrestled Sam that afternoon at an outside show. It was just like everything clicked. You know what I mean? Like it all lined up, and he just led me. You know what I mean? I just listened like you're supposed to, and we danced. You know, it was like the best match I ever had. I mean, I've had some great matches with like Grey Wolf and like Sinister X and a couple of the other guys. But I'd definitely say Sam. As a singles match, it would be me versus Samu. In a tag team match, it would have to be me and my brother Joel versus LA Smooth and Maddie Small, which was Rosie, when they were tagging on the indie circuit, and it was the Lumberjacks versus the Samoans. And we wrestled them up and down the coast 1,000,000 times, and every night it was great. It was so being young and in the business and having guys like that take you under their wing and like just work with you and give you the opportunity to shine, you can't ask for more. I wish more guys that were more experienced, like the veterans nowadays, would do that with some of the kids nowadays instead of how they're just like don't want to like give back. It's all about them. I think some of the wrestling now is too modernized. It's no longer pro wrestling.
Right.
You know, you go up to WWE and it's like 15 cameras and everybody, they're not even hitting each other and you can tell.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you go to, and then they don't, then it kind of puts a sour taste in everybody's mouth when it's an indie show.
Right.
But yeah, if you go to an independent show and watch a show, you don't see that. The guys are all hungry.
No.
They all want to work. They all want to put that to get to that next level. They're laying it in. You know, and I think that's what's lost now. It's like when they make it up to the WWE, they're all guaranteed money and stuff. They're like, it's just a free ride. Nobody's really down and like hard and like trying to push like they used to do in the 90s and early 2000s and in the 80s, where Vince would be like, hey, I guarantee you 3 bookings a year, but if you do better and you get the crowd behind you, you can get booked every night.
Yeah.
We don't have that no more. They drive, you know?
Right.
They get a bruise and a broken finger or a stubbed toe, and they're sitting at home for 6 weeks picking up a paycheck.
Yeah.
You know? And it's the truth.
No, it is.
Back in the day, guys would get busted open every night, literally. Would bleed like a savage pig, and then the next night they'd be in the ring working another show because they had to make the money to feed their family.
Yep.
You know?
Different time, man. Different time.
Yeah, but I think really believe that if some companies would like or even training facilities would just bring back some of that old school mentality, I think there could be a huge change in the business. That's what I want. That's why I want to give back. That's why I'm doing this.
And speaking of training facilities, you now run High Ground Professional Wrestling Training Center up near Ultra Bald, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Questions asking. They were asking me, would you consider training? You do train people, so talk about that.
I took over Backbreakers. One of my best friends in the world, I consider him my brother, decided that he wanted to take a break from the business a little bit, and he offered me his training facility to take it over. I graciously gave him the biggest hug I could, and I said, when can I open the doors? And we renamed it High Ground Pro Wrestling Training Center, a step above the rest. And I'm not trying to say that we're any better than anybody else. I just know that I want to be the best, and I want to give my guys that come here the best I can to make them the best they can. And I want to give them back what I've learned. And I might not have made it to the top of the ladder, but I think I have a good record of who I've helped in the past. And I think the guys that are coming out of my school now are some of the best guys. And I think in the next couple of years, they'll be signed. I mean, some of the kids that I brought out, the dude.
Yep. That guy was over from day one. And his charisma is just unbelievable.
And
off the charts, man.
He's here and he's training, and he trains 4 nights a week, and he's in this ring and he's busting his ass. I don't know if I can swear. If I can't, I'm sorry. But,
you can.
All right, because I got a mouth.
So do we.
All right, but yeah, he's here busting his ass. Cunningham, You know,
Cunningham gets better and
the
better.
best friends, the tag team with him and Balazuki or whatever his name is, that freaking Italian who thinks he's the king of the world now.
Yeah,
Donnie Bambino.
Danny Bambino, yeah, Donnie Bambino. Nah,
I love the Don. All right, Sean O'Donnell has a question.
How was training?
Nathaniel Cunningham, yeah.
You know, that kid is one of the hardest workers I've seen. He's here constantly. If I'm here at 9 o'clock in the morning to do my own little workout, he's here.
Sweet.
He's here busting his ass. He knows he's got a hill to climb. He knows, that he's got the size, that he don't have the size of some guys, but his heart is bigger than any guy I know. He will be here from sunup to sundown in that ring. He wants it. He's so hungry for it. And you can tell. You look at him from a year ago to now, just his ability alone, he's growing. And it's not just wrestling, physical, it's mental.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not wrestling is more psychology as well as physical, and he knows how to get under those people's skin now. And you see it. They hate him.
Yep.
He's good at that.
Yep.
I got a slew of more comments, brother. Bush holds auctions. You guys know that guy, Mark Bushholds. What's up, Molson?
What's up?
And then he says to me, "Fly Eagles fly." It's the only time I'll ever say that. Take a snapshot, Big Al. Chris says, if there is one thing that you could say to a new young wrestler, what would that be? Like who just like day one?
Don't get into the business. If you're not willing to sacrifice everything and miss dates with your girlfriend or your wife, birthdays, holidays, and be at the gym instead of going out with your friends to the club on a Friday or Saturday night, and put the time and effort into this, don't get into this. Yeah. Wrestling is a lifestyle. And I might not be the most cut up guy, but I know what I can do in the ring. I've done it for 30 years, and I have people that hate me out there, and I have people that love me out there. But if you're not willing to give everything to this business, don't get into this business, because that's just robbing the people. It's not something that there's not enough spots in the companies that are going on now. Do you think you're going to make it to the top? Unless you want it. And I think anybody can make it to the top, to one of the top companies, but you have to earn it.
Oh yeah.
They're going to be giving it to you. You have to earn it. You have to put the time and the effort and get the knowledge, and that's what I believe. And I tell everybody who walks into my school, this school isn't here. This school, you're going to get out of this school what you put into it. I can lead you to the water, but I can't make you drink. You know how they say that? The horse, you lead to water, but you can't make it drink?
Right.
Same thing here. I can train you. I can show you how to do your basics. I can show you how to protect yourself in the ring, but it's up to you to make something out of it. I can only show you and give you the guidance, and open up the doors that I can open. But you have to walk through those doors. And that's the truth. I'm 100%. I tell my boys every time we're here, don't lie to me. I won't lie to you. You're in this business because you love this business and you have a dream for it. If not, I don't want your money. I don't want it. If you got the heart and everything, I have no problem at all helping you train. And I'll break my back and open up my school. If you can't be here only one day, certain day, I'll make sure we have a class that night or that afternoon. If you got the will and the power and the wanting to be here, then I'm going to be here for you.
Right.
You know, it's a business. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Am I trying? I'm not trying to make a living at it. I made a living. I'm good. I'm doing this. Honestly, I'm doing this because I love this business. And I've done my life and what I've done with my life because of this. This thing has always been here for me. Anytime that the darkest times of my life, wrestling has always been there for me. And now it's time for me to get back. And that's the truth. That's what I'm doing.
So you were a few months ago, you recently returned to 3WA after what, like a 3-year hiatus, was it?
Yeah, it was 2 years. Most of the pandemic.
Right.
I tore my Achilles tendon off the bone and ripped it in half.
Oh, wow.
It was supposed to be an 1.5-hour surgery. It ended up being 4.5 hours.
Okay.
They told me that I would never wrestle again. They told me I would never drive a semi truck again.
Jeez.
Because of the extent of it, I did. I made a return like 9 months after I had done it, but I still had issues. And when the pandemic hit, the where I worked transferred me back up north to help with FedEx. I worked for a FedEx company that subcontracted from FedEx.
Okay.
And I was brought in as a trainer and to help train the company I worked for FedEx. And I spent the pandemic up north with no wrestling at all. There's no wrestling in Vermont that I found, or New Hampshire, that's worth going to.
Wow.
I was like so deeply, no training centers that were anything that like you wanted to go into their ring or anything, because they're just trash. I didn't find any place. If there is a place, I would love to go. I would love to go back up north and work. There's a bunch of places I would love to be up there. I got family still up there and stuff that would love to see me before I retire. But it's just, I don't know.
So you go back to 3WA and almost, with not much time, you were the tag team champions with the Roadblock.
I went back to 3WA, not even for me. I went back to 3WA for my boys, to bring them down there, to introduce them to the office, to get them booked, and it just happened. I was like, the opportunity was there, and I jumped on it. And I'm like, I got to bring the Brotherhood back together.
Yep.
With Chad Roadblock,
yep.
who was somebody I helped train when he first got into the business. And it was kind of like, it was nice. It was like we clicked. We never stepped into the ring as a team. We had stepped in the ring against each other a few times.
Right.
And they were good matches. They were hard-hitting matches. We get the opportunity, especially against the family down there, the so-called original family.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the truth, to be the truth, I am the original family. If you look at the documentation of Triple WA, me and the Hat Guy have a long line together. Way back when. So I was kind of not upset, disrespected when they said they were the family and the original family. So, I saw that Chad needed the Roadblock needed a little help.
Right.
And, it just happened. And yeah, what was it? 3 shows and we became the champions.
Yep.
And
now your talent has started showing up at 3WA and making names for themselves, right? I mean, last night, Saturday night alone, they had Damon Dante versus Donnie Bambino. You had the dude with Autumn Breeze in a mixed tag match. And then you were in that Revolution Rumble. I had a question that your friend and mine, JT Cage, wanted me to ask you.
Go ahead.
When you and Roadblock were 1 and 2, how, and this is him talking to me, how scared were you when you heard his music at number 3?
Scared?
Scared.
I don't know.
His-
Maybe he should
his
have
word.
been scared. If I remember right, I think his chest was bloody, and he couldn't wait to get out of that ring.
Yep.
I think he says he's hardcore. I think he learned what hardcore is all about.
Oh my God, you guys!
And
beat
I
the
will
crap
say
out of
this
him.
right now on this podcast.
Sure. Yeah.
JT, you put that strap up against me. If I don't win it, I don't see you walking out of there with it.
Oh.
Oh.
Maybe you'll be walking. You might still have it, but I see a stretcher bringing you out.
Yeah, I
And what
don't know about
you-
you. I don't know about you, Keith, but I saw he comes in there. He starts attacking those guys from behind. They kind of look at each other and look at him and he's like, oh, wait a minute. And then from there, he took a beating for about 10, 15 minutes from those two guys.
I turned to my lady friend that was there, and I'm like, JG Cage has just made the worst mistake of his life. What is he thinking about?
The smartest thing he should have done last night was when he walked into that ring, he should have jumped out the other side and went home.
Exactly.
You know? And Roadblock is still paying for all the beers he had to buy that night when we left. We got a little tassel, you know.
Yeah.
I would have if he would have won that night, I would have been happy for him because I know where he wants to shot at that heavyweight title.
Sure.
But truthfully, I've had the heavyweight title multiple times there. Matter of fact, when I tore my Achilles tendon, I was the heavyweight champion and had to forfeit the title. But I've never had that hardcore strap, and I really think if you look back in the history of Triple WA,
yeah,
and the matches I've had, we know who the real hardcore champion in that company is. So, Cage, if you ever have enough kahunas and want to stop running your mouth, I have an open contract. Sign it.
There it is.
Wow.
Molsonn is the real deal. Great guy. Hoping to see you May 6th at Bushholz Auction House.
Oh, forget May 6th. Let's talk about February 11th. The show that we're doing up here for Steel. Everybody come out.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing a benefit show for her. You guys, you know, everybody who's in the area, please come out. I promise you, all the money is going to them. We're you know, cost is coming out of my pocket, and they're getting the money. She got injured.
And in case people don't know what you're talking about, local female wrestler Adina Steele recently suffered an injury, setting her back. She was really on a tear. She was really on a rocket ship heading towards, I think, a signing somewhere, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I seen many of her matches on YouTube and things like that. And I kept trying to get her on this show for the past 6 months. And then she went, and then she got hurt. And you guys, it's awesome. You guys are doing a show for her, and all the proceeds are going to her. Where is that exactly? If people want to come and attend it,
it's going to be at the Falcon's Nest in Milford, PA, right up the road from our school. You can go right on our website. What is it? High Ground Pro Wrestling, and all the information.
Yes, High Ground Pro Wrestling. Yep. And,
go right on the
Milford.
Facebook page.
In case anybody don't know, Milford's up in the Scranton area. It's up that way, up 81, like Route 81. Anybody
right
down this area?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right now, as it sits right now, I talked to the ticket holder, and ringside is sold out. So all that's left is general admission. So you want to, and I know about half of the tickets, if not 3/4 of the ring general admission has already been sold out, and we're like 2 weeks away. So yeah, please come out. There is going to be so much going on that night. We have a basket raffle going on. We have probably close to over $2,000 worth of merchandise that's going to be given away in the raffles, from gift certificates for restaurants and hotels in the area right down to a basket from High Ground with tickets for the next show. Just come down and support her and take care of, somebody who's been giving you guys. Now it's time for the fans to give a little back to her.
Yeah, and she's phenomenal. She is phenomenal, and no doubt when she gets back on track, I think she's gonna get signed by somebody. Like she has to.
Yeah, she's a hard worker. She's from Backbreakers. She was trained by Justin Glory, which is our, from where we come from, our roots. So yeah, she's one of us, and this is pretty much her home area. So she's known well wide all across, Pennsylvania, Jersey, and New York. So come out, please support her.
Yeah, and Smash Masters is involved in that one too, right? Like Uncle Master and those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we're gonna help Philly Mike out as well.
Yeah, Philly Mike is also injured. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's a great cause, guys. Go out and check that out. That's February 11th.
Yep. Please come to our website, check it out. Please come to one of our shows and check it out. You're gonna see all of the top High Ground and Slam Masters or whatever company's gonna be there. It's gonna be a great show.
Absolutely.
One night only will we be intertwined. So come out and see it.
It works.
See what we're giving you.
So let's talk a little bit about that crop of wrestlers that you brought with you when you went back to 3WA, such as The Dude, such as Donnie Bambino, such as Damon Dante, such as Shelby Waters, some of those ones that you brought with you. Talk about some of them.
What would you like to know?
Well, I mean, your impressions on how they're like. How do you think that they're doing?
All of them are doing well. Some of them have a little bit more work to do. Triple WA is gracious enough to give them a spotlight to shine and to show what they're able to do. I think all of them are going to get better because they're all still young. All of those guys are under a year in the business right now.
Yeah. Except
for Cunningham. He's a few years in. But they're hard workers and they want it. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna see them get signed. I know it. I can feel it. Just the atmosphere around them when they're in the ring, the people just eat it up. Especially with the Dude. The Dude is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
If you were to meet that guy outside of the wrestling, you wouldn't even know it's him.
No.
He's very humble.
Yes.
But all of a sudden that music hits. Something about Van Halen, I guess, for him,
I love that. I love that he comes down to Jump, man. That's one of my old school growing up tunes. And we've had the Dude on here on Around the Turnbuckle. We had a great conversation with him, but personally, Keith and I have both talked to him, and man, you're right. He's humble. He's also hungry, and he's got that it factor that you just can't teach.
No.
Like he engages a crowd. They were cheering for him his debut at 3WA before he even wrestled. He didn't even wrestle yet.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was sitting in the back when it happened. I was like, what the heck's going on out there? Like, damn, he's getting a bigger pop than I am. Like, I don't know about this.
Usually you gotta do that.
And then, I heard he when he was on here, I heard he kind of put out a little challenge towards me. And
he did.
You can that could happen within the year.
I'd pay to see it.
I have no problem. I have no problem when we're here training, but it's a little different when we're at a show. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
We're here training. I'm his trainer. When we're at the show, we're equals. Well, kind of equals.
Business.
It's business.
Right.
And I gotta be able to have my tab paid for at the end of the week. So I need my Harley washed. So, you know. But yeah, I heard a bunch of my boys were on here and they started running their mouths and, oh yeah, I want to wrestle Molson. I want to wrestle Molson.
I don't know if they all challenged you, but they did mention you in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know some of my boys. They want to get in the ring with the old man and see if they can take him to the limit.
Yeah.
You know, they try it here all the time. You know, and I kind of like play with them here, but at a show it's totally different.
Right.
You know, it's about business now. It's not about training. You know,
the dude has the swagger. His gimmick is on point.
Well, the dial gets turned up a few more notches when we're in front of a crowd, and the more they cheer, the more notches go up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Keith and I love calling his matches because they're always fun and entertaining. And Keith will always have a kind of a smirky side comment about whatever the dude was doing before this match in his van. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, yeah. Sometimes, you know, he's had that big part. I keep asking if he's got a muffler leak or something. You know, with all the smoke pouring out of that thing. I'm like, dang.
I cracked up yesterday when he brought out his special gummies. I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
No, please.
I want to know where he got those special gummies from. You know what I mean?
He gave out candy at Halloween. The Halloween show, he handed out candy. I didn't take any candy from him.
I don't think I wound up with any. I heard people were feeling a little funny afterwards.
Oh yeah. All the kids kind of went to sleep and got real hush after they ate that candy, huh? You know, he's been hanging out around here for the last couple weeks, especially during like the holiday season. He's been like, everybody comes in, he's been like trying to check out their bags. He keeps telling everybody that they stole his pen. I'm like, I got a bunch of pens in my drawer. What do you want? He's like, no, I need my pen. I'm like, I don't know what pen you need to write around here, but I can got a bunch right here, you know. I'm like,
guy's a character, man, a character.
I don't know. I hope that pen shows up sometime soon for him. You know, he's been. I don't know if it's a family heirloom or something. His parents brought back from like Woodstock or something for him or whatever. I don't know. So.
All right. Oh man.
So
go ahead.
No, who else you want to talk about?
Well, no, I was going to ask. I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about current affairs with you, and that is you're one half of the tag team champions. And let's talk about your partner, Chad McCoy, longtime veteran, big home-time hero, Quakertown. We did have him on about 6 months to 8 months ago, but in your own words, like, how do you feel about Chad McCoy? You know, obviously he's your brother in the ring.
Well, Chad McCoy, I helped train him way back in the day. So, and for a while there, you know, we kind of didn't see eye to eye. And, you know, even last night, there was a little mix of communication. But, you know, like I said, he picked up the tab last night, so it got all smoothed over. But he's a good kid. You know, a kid, yeah. He's a good guy.
The kid.
He's somebody that's got my back and I can trust him, you know, 100%.
He's a good kid. He's a good seed.
Yeah.
I think he's in better shape than when Keith and I first met him 2 years ago. Like he's phenomenal right now.
He's
He's dropped like over 70 pounds.
Yeah.
He looks awesome.
He's been hitting the gym really, really hard. He's looking good. He's been coming up here, you know, and we've been working out a lot up here together. So you know, our timing and everything's getting better and better. I don't see us losing these titles anytime soon.
No,
I don't think so either.
I've been saying it on commentary. Pretty much anybody who challenges you, I don't know why. Are they suicidal? Do they have some kind of death wish? Like, because I mean, that's a rough night at the office because you guys come out like a house of fire and you don't stop until
come on, Professor. Now's your chance. Professor, now's your chance. During commentary, I don't know if Jack's heard it, But whenever Carolina Jim announces you from the White Mountains, what do you say, Keith?
He is the White Mountains.
He is the White Mountains.
Back in the day, they used to call me the Mountain.
Yeah.
Me and my brother Joel, he was the Iron Cross, and I was the Mountain Man.
Nice.
So the big mountain, Jak Molsonn. So yeah, I've been.
Andy says hi, Andy.
Hi, Andy.
So yeah.
Chris says, do you have a guy in training right now that has an it factor? Do you see maybe him someday making it or getting elite? We talked about the dude, but do you see any new guys that maybe we haven't heard of yet?
Oh yeah, we just matter of fact, I just signed a kid. We call him Big D. That's how I'm gonna leave it.
Okay.
He's 4th degree black belt.
Whoa.
And he's put together pretty well. And he's got the look. He's got the ability. And he's gotta be.
You just gotta worry. You gotta mold the clay.
Gotta mold the clay. I give him about another 6 months of training of hard that he's been doing here. And we'll see if he shows up at Triple WA and take some heads off. He's got
What's up, Thundercat?
He's got a vicious roundhouse that you don't even want to be involved in.
I was going to ask you, does he do like a spinning kick? Does he do like a roundhouse kick?
Oh, he's got a bunch of stuff he does. He's one of those guys that he reminds me a lot of like Blackman.
Oh, okay.
That type of like just vicious. He can be vicious, and loves the pain. He loves the pain. We'll be in the ring, man, and he just wants it. He's so hungry right now. And I don't think that's gonna change any. Nice. And he just sucks it up. Yeah.
How big is he? Like, how tall is he?
He's like 6'1", 6'2".
Oh shit! Nice.
Yeah, he's a good sized boy.
Yeah.
I think right now he's probably the giveaway. I think he's benching over 4.
Fuck. Wow. Nice.
Yeah. He's put together. He's put together. So
that's one of those guys that sounds like he's not going to be a secret for very long once he gets out there.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that one. I hope we see him soon. That's cool.
Yeah.
Those Vince McMahon phone calls.
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah. I don't. When we train up here, I teach them the right way, and they learn.
Yeah.
I don't just because he has a look and he's got the size and the ability. I'm not going to rush him. He needs to learn the business and learn his basics before he gets in the ring. I don't want him. He can hurt somebody bad. And I don't want him to have that. I want him to be ready for what he has to do when he gets ready to hurt somebody.
Right.
I don't want him to get in that ring and be sloppy or dangerous. He's dangerous enough with what he can do. I don't need him to hurt somebody on accident.
Right.
I want it to be on purpose. All
right, man. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you would like to talk about before we get out of here?
No, man, I'm good. I enjoyed this. We'll have to do this again.
Yeah, anytime, man.
You guys will have to come up. You guys will have to come up to one of our shows.
Yeah.
And maybe we can do the podcast here. We'll get some of the boys to come in and
sure.
We're at our training facility. We're working on a promo room that's going to be set up for podcast as well as
promo classes. There you go. Nice.
Yeah. One of my best friends and one of my brothers over in New Zealand. Trying to talk to him and figure out how we can kind of hook up and do something where he can bring get some of his boys over here. He's been it's hard because he's time difference and stuff. And we've really been when he was here wrestling, we had talked about always wanting to do something where we had 2 companies running and we could intertwine them from country to country.
Mm.
So hopefully we'll be able to do that. And we have, I have a lot of friends in small, low places and high places, So we have to keep watching high ground to see what happens. It's
dude, of course we're gonna. Yeah, hey, we're open to anything, man. We're open to new experiences and things like that. So yeah. You invite us down there. You tell us when and where, and we'll try to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely, guys. We'll definitely have to have you guys down. Most definitely, as my guest. Yes, most definitely, we'll have you guys down, and we'll figure something out. We have.
And meantime, we'll still see you in Quakertown on the fourth Saturday of every month.
Yep.
And I got one last.
There's a bunch of other shows coming up too. I mean, there's a show outside of Reading there at the auction house coming up.
Yes.
There's a show down in Norristown coming up. Like we're gonna be all over. It's gonna be wrestling. It seems like indie wrestling is starting to take off again.
Yeah, it really is.
It's
great to see.
It's been feeling that way past couple of years.
Plus, I kind of want to get the professor up here. He says he's a professor. I guess he thinks he's a professor of professional wrestling. So I think maybe we should get him in the ring and see what he's really a professional of. Up here at the training center.
You're the second guy this week to challenge the professor to getting in the ring.
Oh, I'm not. I don't want to get in the ring with him. I want to see what the professor can teach me. He's a professor. He says he's a professor of wrestling.
He's a professor of book knowledge. He reads everything on professional wrestling. He's my encyclopedia to go to when I need a fact check.
Oh, so in other words, you're telling me he's just a big nerd.
Pretty much.
Well, we're all big nerds, one way or the other, man. You told me that Higher Ground was named after Star Wars, so we're all nerds one way or the other.
By my wife, matter of fact. We were sitting there. We were sitting there in the living room watching Star Wars. My wife is a huge Star Wars fan. Huge Star Wars fan.
Oh my!
And we were sitting there watching. What's the one with the little?
It's
little
Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3.
Right. No, we weren't watching that. We were watching the Mandalorian or whatever it is.
The Mandalorian.
Yes. And throwing up names, trying to write down stuff, and she that popped out of her head. She goes, "Oh, I remember they said this line in one of the Star Wars movies." I'm like, "Which one?" She's like, "Oh, give me a minute," and she found it. And then you know what I mean. And then she was like, it just clicked. It was like, yes, I don't want to be a company that everybody's like, oh, it's just another company that looks the same as everybody else. Our logo is totally different than everybody else. There's a meaning behind it, and we can go into that some other time.
Right.
Our logo, our name, everything has a meaning. It's not just something we're throwing together. It's something that we're passionate about. And, my wife's passionate about Star Wars. That's where the name came from.
I love it, man. High Ground Professional Wrestling Training Center in Archibald, PA. Look this man up if you're interested in getting in the business. But like he said earlier, you need to be serious. Like you need to seriously want to do this. Like you with every bone in your body, sacrifice your entire life to learn this and do this. Because if you don't love it, don't even bother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's what's happening nowadays. You guys know that. Guys are getting into they're going to make money, and it's killing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Keith and I aren't in it to make money. We're just trying to help it make a better place. That's why we've dipped our toes into 3WA and SWO, because all we are trying to do is make it a better place. This show is a platform for promoters, for trainers, for new talent to just come on here and tell their story to try to help it make it a better place, at least in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Well, you guys are doing a great job, and I appreciate it. Thank God there's other people out there that want indie wrestling and professional wrestling to grow again like it was back in the day. I think if more people watch wrestling and was able to get that aggression out through us, that this world might be a little better place.
Could be.
Greg Thundercat says, are you accepting veterans to come and help? He's been around 17 years.
I'm always give the opportunity to somebody to see if they're worth having here. I'm very, very picky about who trains and who doesn't train because I want to be trained a certain way. How I was trained, and how Glory trained the kids prior to us. I have a very strong belief factor, and I believe in my ways 100%. But I think my guys need to learn from more than just me. I can teach them so much, but there's always somebody else can teach them that I can't, and I believe in that.
And he says that's absolutely understandable.
I'm a 400-pound man. I can't do loopy loops and 450 splashes, or what I mean. That's just not in my repertoire anymore. I only get up on the top rope and hit a moonsault when it's damn well necessary,
Yeah. Goodness gracious.
I think the day I see that, I'm gonna have a heart attack.
Well, my kids all want to see it, so you never know what day it might just pop out. Big enough crowd. I don't think you'll see it in well, you never know. You might see it.
Yeah. With wrestling, Jack. With wrestling, you never know. Never know.
Nope.
Never
say
never.
Know. Never say never.
All right, man. We're gonna get out of here, but don't go anywhere when I go off the air, okay?
All right.
Professor, do you know who we have on Around the Turnbuckle next Sunday at 6:00?
I do. We have the new SWO Unlimited champion, Tim Rush.
We absolutely do. The SWO,
yes. Bad man.
Absolutely. He is the nastiest of nasties. The SWO Unlimited champion, Tim Rush. We'll be right here on Around the Turnbuckle next Sunday at 6:00 on YouTube. In the meantime, Professor, you got any parting gifts for Mr. Molsonn?
I want to thank you for your time coming on here. I'm so glad that you had a good time. I certainly had a good time listening to your stories and learning things. I think you're doing a great job. Every time we talk to somebody out of your school and we're like, hey, how many matches have you had? And they were like 4 or 5. And I'm like, you're lying. You can't be this good at 4 or 5 matches. So, I mean, that's a testament to what you're doing there. It's certainly working because they look a lot more skilled and more developed than anybody would think for the level of experience that they have.
Thank you so much. That comes from who helped train me. Seriously.
Yeah, love it, man. All right, we'll be seeing you down the road.
We gotta pass it down, and that's another thing that they talk about too, is that you load them in the car and you make them listen, and you are training them even on the car ride. And I wish I would hear more trainers are doing that and more veterans are doing that, because everybody used to talk about that back in the day. Most of the training would happen on the car rides. It wouldn't happen in the ring. It was going over the match and dissecting everything on the ride to the next town.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we do. We're getting it's just us workers. I don't allow them to take their wives or their girlfriends or their kids or whatever. When we go to shows, it's us, and it's about wrestling and it's about learning, and we learn from each other in the car. I have my kids watch my matches as well as I watch theirs. They see something I screwed up because I'm human. It happens, and if they see something I can better, I take it into account, and if they're right, I tell them. If they're wrong, I tell them and correct them, and we go forward. That's how it's going to be. If you don't help each other, you can't make it in this business. You have to learn from everybody. Everybody can teach you something. You just got to be willing to want to learn.
Right.
All right, man. It was a great hour, and we'll definitely do this again sometime, but don't go anywhere. For the Professor and for Big Jak Molsonn, I am the Big Al Boski. Go Birds! And we'll see you next time on Around the Turnbuckle.
You think you know me?
Oh, yeah! If you smile!
Calculations are correct. When this baby hits 80